VoTY Broadcast episode 17. Now, today we're going to be talking about time perception, and Asad's done a lot of research into what time perception is, and he's written a really interesting article which you can read after the podcast. Now, Asad, tell us briefly about what time perception actually is for viewers.
Yes, hello. So, time perception basically is the way you see the world when it comes to the movement of time. Like, which way you see time going in, whether you see yourself moving through it, whether you think time's coming to you. We'll get into more details later.
And then, what are the two differences? In your article you describe two kind of different modes of time perception. What are the two differences between them?
Yeah, so for us English speakers, there are two main ways to perceive time. EMP, which is ego-moving perception, and TMP, which is time-moving perception. So with ego-moving perception, it can be described as you feeling as though you are moving through time. So imagine there's like a big road in front of you, and the road is time, and you are going forwards, you're, getting to events. And the other one, time-moving perception, is probably best described as time coming.
Sorry, we just lost connection there.
You standing next to a river, and the river is the time, and time is coming to you, and events are coming to you, rather than you moving through time. So in one of them, time is static, you're moving across it, and the other one, TMP, you are static and time is coming to you.
Okay, so what's most common in terms of how people perceive time?
What do you mean, sorry? As in,
what
or TMP are more common?
Yeah.
I think it's pretty evenly split. I don't remember exactly, but I'm pretty sure it was fairly even.
Okay.
It was, very close.
So, how does this influence people's perception of other everyday things, such as deadlines, punctuality, but also in a wider context, just their everyday lives, such as moving from one place to the next?
So the best way to answer your question is probably with another question. So, let's give you a hypothetical situation first. You have a meeting on Wednesday at noon. I then tell you that the meeting has been moved forward 2 hours. So now, would you say the meeting is at 10 a.m. or 2 p.m.? So if you say 10 a.m., then you're using time-moving perception. And if you're if you say that the meeting is now at 2 p.m., then you're using ego-moving perception. So what I'm trying to say is, if you say that it's been moved forward to 2 p.m., you're using ego-moving perception because in your mind, you were moving towards the meeting, and then along your journey, the meeting was moved further away, forwards on the road, if that makes sense, if you remember the road I was talking about earlier. And that's why it's now at 2 p.m. Or if you said 10 a.m., then again, this is a valid answer, and in your mind, the meeting was coming towards you along the river, and now it's been moved forward, so it's even closer to you along the river, if that makes sense. So both answers are technically valid, but some people have strong opinions about which one is correct.
And so, just basing that off that influence the people's perception of other things, then does this have any wider context to a person's mental capacity for negative and positive thinking? Perhaps either that is impacting their time perception, or their time perception is impacting on their mental capacity for negative and positive thinking?
Well, generally speaking, it's not an exact science, but shows that those who use ego-moving perception are more likely to feel as if their life matters and as if they can make a change, and generally just like more confident, I guess. Whereas those with time-moving perception, they might feel more like their life is predetermined, they can't really do much, like events are going to come towards them whether they like it or not because they can't do anything. But that is just like a general thing. It's not, it won't be like necessarily the case with all people.
Sure. Just a quick personal question. Are you TMP or EMP?
Well, with the question I asked about the meeting, I said 2 p.m, so I was EMP. But I just wanted to make it clear also that your time perception can actually change. So it's not like you're stuck with one. So research shows that your perception can change depending on how you feel about an event. So if you're like dreading an event and you know it's coming up soon, maybe a homework deadline or something like that, and then you're more likely to switch over the time-moving perception, where you're feeling as if you can't do anything, you're powerless, the event's going to come to you whether you like it or not. Whereas if you're looking forward to something, then you might use EMP, where you're seeing yourself like gradually getting closer and closer, and maybe you're feeling excited, and you feel as if you are in control, you are moving towards the event that you're excited for.
I see. And then psychologically, can you just give us an explanation about how time perception may work in a person's day-to-day life and how it may influence how they do things and maybe how they do things differently depending whether you have EMP or TMP?
I'm not entirely sure it affects our actions that much. The main thing I can really think of is the confusion when it comes to events being moved forwards or backwards. I don't think it would have such a big effect on the way you act.